President Donald Trump said there is no inflation in the US and also said without tariffs, the US would only have a fraction of current investment. How accurate is his assessment of the economic picture?
So Donald Trump likes to tout how much money the U.S. government is bringing in or can bring in the future from these tariffs. He sees the tariffs as a key revenue tool and also as a negotiating tactic to improve the trade relationships with other parts of the world, and also, as we discussed, to bring manufacturing facilities but also jobs back to the United States. But if we look at the actual figures released by the U.S. government, according to official data, in June 2025, tariff revenue reached $28 billion US. That's triple what it had reached in the same month the previous year. So yes, tariff revenues are higher, have been higher in the previous year. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, it's an independent body within Congress that issues financial and economic reports. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the tariffs essentially will cut government borrowing by 2035, so over the next 10 years, by $2.5 trillion. Now, that's all good news, and that all implies that what Donald Trump says is accurate. But then you have to take into account some of the other factors. For example, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, also says that tariffs could have a larger effect of essentially shrinking the economy, shrinking economic activity, because costs are higher for companies, so they hire less people, and essentially economic activity grinds down. The other thing is the tax cuts. We talked about the big, beautiful bill that was passed on July 4th. Massive tax cuts contained in that bill. So potentially the cost of the tax cuts to the US government, along with the shrinking of the economy, could cancel out any revenue coming from the tariffs. So the verdict's still out on that. On the second point to do with inflation, the last reading we had for the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index, that's the preferred measure of inflation, was 2.6% exactly. It's higher than the 2% targeted by the Fed. And last night we heard from Jerome Powell, who said that he expects inflation to end the year around 3%. But he also said that he doesn't expect a large pass-through from the tariffs to inflation, basically saying that the feared impact from the tariffs on inflation hasn't materialized and doesn't look like it's going to materialize. So on inflation, Donald Trump perhaps is right and has been vindicated, because we haven't seen that spike in inflation. Whether the actual tariff revenue will indeed boost government revenue, I think the verdict is still out on that one.